Hello everyone, this is your English language learning channel and this is Mr. Ahmed Al-Sharawi. Today we have a new grammar lesson. It's about the comparative and superlative form of adjectives. So our goal or the objective of this lesson is to learn how to make comparison form and superlative form. So we start with the definition and some examples of adjectives. So what is an adjective? Adjective is a word that describes a noun or a pronoun. A word that describes places, people, or things. So we have here some examples of adjectives. An adjective can tell about the color, size, shape, number, sound, or even the weather. Some of these adjectives, they are green, large, oval, sour, few, clear, windy, fresh. So all of these are adjectives, and as we know, they describe nouns or pronouns. They describe people, places, or things. So let's get to the formation of the comparative and superlative. How do we form the comparative and superlative? So whenever you need to use an adjective in the comparative and superlative form, you need to ask yourself two questions. First question is, what kind of adjective is this? Is it a short adjective? Is it one syllable adjective, two syllables, three or more? Irregular adjectives? How would I deal with all of these? The other question you need to ask yourself is, how many am I describing or comparing? Am I describing only one? Am I comparing between two? Or am I comparing between one and the rest of its kind? Or maybe between more than two? So if you look at this picture here, you could see that the comparisons of the adjective, it has three forms. The positive form, which is the adjective itself, like big, as you can see here. The comparative form, which is when you compare between two, or the superlative form when you compare between more than two. So how do we know about the adjectives? The adjectives could be one of these. It could be one syllable adjective, as we call it, maybe short adjective, like clear, dark, old. Some of these adjectives, or the one syllable adjectives, they are so simple to deal with. You just add er when you compare between two, or add est when you compare between more than two. So as you can see here, clear will be clearer, and the superlative form, if you compare more than two, it will be clearest. Dark, darker, darkest. Old, older, oldest. Okay, so one of these one-syllable adjectives, they already end in E. So I always add ER or EST, but what if it ends in E already, like the word wise or simple? So as you can see here, the word wise, it ends in E. So do I add ER? So E-ER? No. You'll just add the R letter or add EST. So you already have it here, the E. So no need to write another E. So this is one syllable ending in E. Another adjective that's ending in one vowel and one consonant, as you can see in the word thin, T-H-I-N. So as you can see, the last letter is a consonant, the letter N, and it's preceded by a vowel. The letter just before the N is a vowel. So when you find this pattern, when you find an adjective with this pattern, you just double the last consonant. As you can see here, thin became thinner. You double the last consonant. Fat became fatter. Thinnest and fattest. This works with all the adjectives that ends in a consonant preceded by a vowel. Vowel plus consonant. Okay, what about the two-syllable ending? The two syllables ending in Y, any adjective with 2 syllables and the last one, the last letter is a Y, you could replace or cross out the Y and replace it with I and then add ER or add EST. Like the word busy would be busier, busiest. Merry, merrier, merriest. Happy, happier, happiest. So you just cross the Y and add I before you add ER or EST. So all of these, we call them short adjectives. The 1 or 2 syllables, they are all short adjectives. What about the long adjectives? Adjectives like creative, like popular, like expensive, like intelligent, all of these adjectives that are so large that you cannot add ER or EST. There is a different rule for these adjectives. Adjectives with 3 or more syllables, you can make the comparative form by adding more before the adjective or most before the adjective in the superlative form. So in the comparative, you add more before it, and in the superlative, you add most before it. All of these adjectives are going through this regulation. They are working through this rule. They don't go away from this rule. They are regular adjectives. But what about the irregular adjectives? The ones who are not working through this rule. The ones who are just not ordinary adjectives. So these adjectives, you need to memorize them. There is no rule here. You cannot just add ER to good, it will be gooder. No, this is not accepted in English language. You need to use the word better if you want to give the comparative form of good. If the word is bad, it would be worse. If it's superlative form, it would be worst. So now you know by these 2 questions here, what kind of adjective is it and how many are we comparing or describing. We're comparing between 2, so it would be worse. We're comparing between more than 2, it would be worst. That would be the end of part 1. Please watch part 2 for some exercises and the assignment at the end of part 2. Thank you so much. Bye.